Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. If you are feeling dread and anxiety in this new year, you are not crazy. We are on the precipice of what many imagined as a worst-case scenario of Donald Trump as president of the United States. From the moment that he came down the escalator to announce his candidacy, people across the political and ideological spectrum, from Marco Rubio to Lindsey Graham to Hillary Clinton to Bernie Sanders to Rick Perry to Ted Vote Your Conscience Cruz, they all have assessed Trump's character as completely unfit to wield the power that he wields as president of the United States. For all of Trump's narcissism and pettiness and braggadocio and ignorance, thus far, through sheer luck, we have avoided that absolute worst-case scenario of the president essentially plunging the country into a new military conflagration / geopolitical quagmire. A lot of truly horrible things have happened under Donald Trump as president. Nearly 3,000 of our fellow Americans died in Puerto Rico after the administration's weak hurricane response. Thousands of immigrant children separated from their parents, kept in cages. Dozens of immigrants, including children, have died in ICE custody. But a brand new war run by this corrupt and curious president, that is the ultimate fear. A fear that looks very close right now to being a reality. In the wake of his ordering the airstrike of the number 2 figure in Iran and millions of people marching in the streets in Iran, Trump is now tweeting the way that he always tweets, making outrageous declarations and threats. But now the difference is this: the stakes are as high as they can possibly be. On top of that, the man is facing an impeachment trial that he is obviously unnerved and obsessed by. There's every reason to believe that any further evidence in documents or witness testimony would show Trump to be even more guilty than he already looks. And so amidst this, Donald Trump has launched an unbelievably provocative escalation of active war by any sensible determination in the midst of his own impeachment for motives that cannot be taken at face value. And now in the wake of that reckless decision, the man who maybe knows more about Trump's Iran policy than anyone, who's been pushing for this kind of military confrontation with Iran for his entire adult life, former National Security Advisor John Bolton, says he wants to talk. See, Bolton is also, of course, a key figure in the impeachment of Donald Trump. And he just announced that after turning down a request to speak to the House, he is prepared to talk to the Senate. He released a statement explaining his rationale, saying, quote, "I have concluded that if the Senate issues a subpoena for my testimony, I am prepared to testify." It's important to remember that Bolton left his position abruptly the day before Donald Trump released that Ukraine aid. Immediately after leaving, he told the Washington Post, quote, "I will have my say in due course." For months now, Bolton has been letting it drip out that he has more to say. Back in November, his lawyer said that Bolton had many relevant meetings and conversations about Ukraine that the House impeachment investigators had not heard. And we found out just a few weeks ago that he was involved in an August meeting to try to get Trump to release military aid to Ukraine. Now, today, Republican Senator Marco Rubio responded to Bolton's offer to testify, saying he would vote against a subpoena of Bolton. His Republican colleague, Senator John Cornyn, suggested Bolton's testimony could be, quote, helpful to the president. And maybe it could be. Who knows? Throughout this entire affair, Bolton has been very coy in playing out some kind of unknown strategy of encouraging subordinates to testify, distancing himself from the corrupt obstruction at the heart of the president's impeachment, but not testifying himself. Hinting always that he knows more than he says. Now, if the House is done, he says he will talk to the Senate. Now, maybe because he doesn't think they will subpoena him. But now the possibility of his testimony is once again front and center. The obvious case to hear what he and others have to say has only gotten stronger.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.